Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alicia and I make sewing and DIY fashion videos. So recently I have been obsessed with the oversized statement collar trend. I finally decided to make one myself. So in today's video we're going to be making a cottagecore blouse with the oversized collar. So today's going to be quite a special video because I actually have my first sponsor ever, and it's from the brand Chungage. It is a fabric store from Korea. They have a bunch of unique and cute designs that can be used for bedding, for home accessories, and of course clothing. They also have a bunch of specialized fabrics as well, like waterproof, embroidery, and organic fabrics. And I also got some embroidery packs like that I can add a bit of accent on the collar as well. So let's just open the fabric that I got. So here's my package, Chungage. Oh, so this is the fabric that I got. Look at this pattern. So I'm in love with gingham, as you guys might know. I just really love the pattern. I thought it would fit perfectly the aesthetic of the blouse. This one is made out of viscose rayon, and just by the feel of it, you can tell that it's really high quality, and it's actually pretty reasonably priced. This one was only $9.34 USD. That's like a really good price for fabrics. And the other thing I got is 2 embroidery kits. It's like a little floral design that I can put on the collar over here. I'll just open one so we can see what's inside. We have like a bunch of different embroidery kits that were super cute and fun, like little craft ideas. This one is like the pin holder, but I'm just going to use like a little design here. One more important thing to note is that the fabrics are made in-house, so everything from design, production, and distribution. You can really tell that they value quality, and their designs are super cute, so go check them out. I'll put their link in my description box down below. And yeah, thank you Chungage for sponsoring today's video. For the pattern, I already self-drafted it by using some techniques I learned from my Japanese fashion school. So I'm going to put the PDF in my description box as well. The only thing is it's only one size, as I used my measurements to draft it. Like, I don't know how to make different size patterns yet, but it should fit like a small to medium. So yeah, let's get started with the tutorial. So here's all of the pattern pieces you'll need. Pin the pattern pieces to the fabric, unfold, and cut it out. For the back, front, and sleeve pieces, we'll cut them out of the gingham fabric. You should have 2 symmetrical front pieces, 1 back piece, and 2 sleeves. For the ruffle, collar, and cuff, we'll cut it out of some white cotton to add some contrast. You're also going to need to cut a 1-inch bias tape that's the same length as the collar. Also transfer the front and back markings for the sleeve, mark all of the notches, and mark the front and back darts. Last thing to cut out is some interfacing. You'll need some for the collar and for the sleeve cuff. Just cut one of the cuffs and cut it in half like this. We're also going to cut some interfacing for the button placket. Iron on the interfacing to the button placket and then fold it onto the inside. Also iron the interfacing for the collar and cuffs, and fold the ruffle collar in half. And my ruffle was around 70 inches long. Now that everything is cut and ready to be sewn, let's start by sewing the darts. Fold the dart in half and pin it, and repeat for all of the darts and sew them. Place the front and back piece right sides together and sew the shoulder seam. Always backstitch to lock in the seams, and also add a zigzag stitch to prevent fraying. And it should look like this. Next, sew a basting stitch to the sleeve cap and to the bottom of the sleeve. Use the notches as a guide on where to sew, and leave enough thread to be able to pull on them and to gather the fabric. And then you have some cute little ruffles to make some puff sleeves. Aligning the front and back sleeve to the bodice, place them right sides together and pin those points first. Pin the center and then adjust the ruffles to fit the armhole perfectly, and pin down the rest of the sleeve. And then sew it down at 1/2 inch. I also added a top stitch to the sleeve. This is optional, but I find it makes the seam look extra clean and helps the ruffles to stay in place. Next, place the front and back right sides together and sew the side seams. And here's how it's looking like so far. And now it's embroidery time. Choose which color thread you want to work with and draw your design on the collar with interfacing on it. I like to use a water-soluble pen for this. And I also decided to add a tiny embroidery to the cuff as well. Secure your embroidery hoop, and I'll show you how to do each stitch, starting with my favorite, the Lazy Daisy. Bring your needle up through the bottom of the petal, then bring it back down right next to that spot until it makes a loop like this. And poke your needle at the tip of the petal, and pull the thread till it makes a tiny loop like this. Bring your needle up and then back down to secure the petal in place. And then just repeat that for all of the petals. And then you have some cute little flowers. You'll also need the daisy stitch for the leaves, and I chose this super pretty sage green color. Next is the French knot for the flower buds. Bring your needle up and wrap the thread around it twice, and bring the needle back down. Keep the knot taut with your left hand as you pull the thread through the knot. And that's it, pretty simple. You're also going to use the French knot for the center of the flower. And next is a straight stitch for the tiny flower. So this one is the most straightforward one. You just make some straight lines like this. I'm not too sure how else to explain it, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Breathing for you. Breathing for you. Add your finishing French knots to all of the flowers and we're done. Breathing for you. It's looking super cute, I love it so much. And now for the cuff embroidery. Use the Lazy Daisy stitch for the petals. And for the stem, I used a back stitch. So bring your needle up a stitch length forward and bring it down back to the previous stitch like this. Breathing for you. Breathing for you. And then finish off the flower with a French knot. And we're done. I think the embroidery is my favorite part of this project. It just makes it look super cute. And now to add the ruffle to the collar. Sew a basting stitch to the edge, and as you hold one of the threads, gently pull the fabric till it starts ruffling. Because the fabric is folded, it's a lot harder to ruffle, but just take your time and it'll give something like this. Pin the ruffle evenly to the collar and sew it down. For you, that's all that I do. Now that the ruffles are securely in place, we can add the second collar piece and pin it down like this. And sew it at 1/2 inch. Flip it inside out and the collar is complete. Now to attach it to the blouse. Place the collar on top and pin it, and base stitch it down. And then pin the bias tape to the right side of the collar. And sew it at 1/4 inch. Bring the bias tape up and fold the button placket right sides together and sew the top edge. like this, and then flip it inside out to give this clean finish. And now back to the bias tape, fold it in once and fold the seam allowance down and pin it to the fabric. Once everything is pinned, sew it down to finish off the edge of the collar. For the cuffs, fold them in half and sew the edge to create a loop like this. Make some ruffles to the hem of the sleeve by pulling on the basting stitch. Do this till it fits the cuff. Next, align the non-interfaced part of the cuff to the inside of the sleeve, so the right side of the cuff is pinned to the wrong side of the sleeve, and sew it. Bring the cuff up, fold the edge and fold it another time and pin it down. And the sleeves are done. The embroidery gives that nice little detail to the sleeves as well. And now for the button placket. Fold out 1/4 inch and fold it down 1 inch. Fold the top edge inside like this and then pin everything down. And sew the edge with a straight stitch. Next is to hem the bottom of the top with a double hem, so just fold the edge in twice and sew. Mark where you want your buttons to go. I had 5 buttons spaced at 3 inches each. And then sew your buttonholes on the left button placket using your buttonhole stitch. Now use a seam ripper to cut them open. And lastly, sew your buttons with some needle and thread, and we're done. Here's the final transformation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I think this is actually my first doing embroidery on this channel. I have made one before, but I think I privated the video just because it was kind of cringy. But yeah, I haven't embroidered in a while and it was really fun. So I think I might just add embroidery on a bunch of plain blouses from now to jazz them up a bit. And of course, if you try to recreate this blouse, make sure to tag me on Instagram at @AliJansen so that I can see your recreations. And also, thank you Chungage for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check them out. The link is in my description box down below. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!